Okay, if you're someone who wants to become a creator on the internet and you want to also make money with it, you don't want to just make content, you actually want to build a business online that you can monetize through your social media, whether it be a personal brand or through a faceless brand for an e-commerce brand or whatever it may be. But if you want to actually use social media and leverage it to make money, you need to have a very particular type of skill set to actually be successful. So over the past 4 years, I've been the behind the scenes content director for a lot of your top favorite personal brands. I've generated over 1 billion views, multiple millions of followers. And in that time frame, I myself have developed a certain skill set that has allowed me to be so successful working with other personal brands and also in my own business, my own personal brand, which I've grown to over 160,000 followers in the past few years. And I'm going to be breaking down that skill set for you in this video. And if you're really interested in learning more about growing your personal brand, just hit subscribe, check out the description. I have some links there. But let's get into it. We're going to be covering the 5 main skills and qualities that you have to have in order to get rich from social media. Okay, so the first thing you need to understand is the best quality to have as someone who wants to make money on social media is what I call open-minded stubbornness. Okay, so open-minded and stubborn, they kind of contradict each other, but you have to understand that making money on social media it's a long game, okay? And it's a thing that's not going to work for quite a while until it does work, okay? It's going to feel like you're posting and no one's watching, you're posting into the void. People don't care what you're talking about, things aren't working, maybe you're kind of doubting yourself whether you're even meant to do this kind of thing. That's where the stubbornness comes in, all right? You have to be so stubborn that you're just going to keep pushing no matter what happens. You're gonna fail hundreds of times. The first products you're gonna promote are gonna flop. No one's gonna buy them. You're not gonna get any followers or subscribers. But you have to have essentially the stubbornness where you're gonna keep pushing forward and say to yourself, no matter what happens, I am not gonna quit. You have to have this very stubborn mentality. However, stubborn people in general are usually not open-minded, okay? They stick to their one way of doing things. Even if it doesn't work, they keep trying it the same way. And that's the definition of insanity, right? Is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. But you have to also have an open mind. So the stubbornness comes in that you're never going to quit, but the open-mindedness comes in where if something that you're doing isn't working, you need to be open and receptive to outside feedback and outside opinions on what could work and what you're doing wrong and what you could be doing differently. And you need to be essentially a student of the game and realize that you don't know everything. And there are people out there who are better than you, that are making more money than you, that are being more successful than you at the same thing that you're doing. And so you need to be open-minded enough and humble enough to essentially go to those people for advice and study those people and accept those different opinions. But you also need to be stubborn in the fact that you're never going to quit. A lot of people are going to tell you you can't do this thing, but you got to keep pushing no matter what. That's the number one skill set quality to have. The second thing that you need to master is you have to master the art of getting attention on social media. If you want to be a creator that's making money and is going to get rich, if you can't get attention on social media, you have no one to sell to. No one's going to know who you are. No one's going to get their eyes on your product. They're not going to listen to what you have to say. You have to understand the art of getting attention. Now, here's the big thing. Attention in and of itself is not the goal, because you can have the wrong kind of attention from the wrong kind of people. That's why you see a lot of these TikTok people, they do stupid dances and little skits and whatever, and they don't make any money. You know, some guy who has 5,000 followers with the right kind of quality attention makes more money than a lot of these TikTok kids with multiple millions of followers, right? So it's not just about getting attention, it's about getting the right attention, quality over quantity. And the way you do that is you make basically serious content. You don't create content for the bottom of the barrel kind of people. You don't create stupid content. You want to avoid funny content, extremely entertaining content that's only entertaining in nature. You essentially want to avoid brain rot content, okay? You have to create content for a higher quality demographic, a higher quality person that can actually sit and listen to a piece of advice, can actually understand the value you're trying to give them. If all you want to do is a little TikTok dance, sure, you'll get 10 million views in a video, but those views aren't going to do anything for you, okay? You need to understand how to get the right type of attention from social media. The fastest and easiest way to do that is by producing short form content. I've got some other videos on that if you want to check out the best things you need to do in order to push out short form content that's going to perform. But what you need to understand is getting attention is the second most important thing. Okay. The third thing that you need to master, well, not necessarily master, but you need to have a good level of it, is you need to study copywriting. Now, what is copywriting if you don't know? It's essentially how you write words or even say words that convince people to buy what you're selling, essentially, right? Every time you've read an ad or you've watched a video on TV or on YouTube that's promoting something to you, every single word that was written on screen or was said by the actor was written by someone that's called a copywriter, okay? And one of the biggest mistakes that creators make is they get good at, say, for example, making content, right? Getting that attention, but then they don't know how to convert that attention into sales, right? And the way you convert it into sales is by having an understanding of copywriting and what makes people buy a certain product. You have to learn how to frame your product in a way where it makes it a no-brainer. The offer has to be great, okay? And so if you can actually translate why your product should be purchased, why someone should trust you enough to buy your product, if you can translate that into a video ad, a VSL, or into a written landing page, then you're going to have a significantly higher chance of converting your viewers into actual buyers. Okay, so the number one thing I would recommend is when you're on your Instagram feed and you see a really solid ad from a great creator that pops up on your feed, you got to save it. Okay, you save the ad. And you can basically do that across, tens and tens and tens of different creators, and you'll end up with a big folder full of ads. Watch those ads end to end, study them, study the hooks, study the structure, study what messaging they convey in the short time frame that they have. Then also go over to Facebook Ads Library. Type that into Google, Ads Library, and type in the username of those various different creators. And that's going to show you every single one of their ads that they currently have active. You'll be able to go through their ads. You'll study all of the copy that they've written, the written copy and the spoken copy in the videos. You'll also be able to click over onto their funnels. You can watch their VSLs, you can opt into their stuff, read their entire sales page, you can book a call, you can see what their post-call sequence is like, their email sequence, and you can basically dissect the entire funnel and figure out what is working for the other creators, and then take that structure and adapt it for yourself, and you can use that to study and learn what is working. And when you do that across dozens of creators in your niche or in other niches, then you become really strong at writing copy because you're reading so much of it, you're digesting so much of it. And this is by far the absolute best way to study copywriting, okay? Is by studying what's already working. Another great way to obviously study is by reading. So there's two great books that I love for copywriting. The first one is Scientific Advertising, and the second one is called Great Leads. Those are two fantastic books that you need to read. You can get them on Kindle for almost nothing. You can probably even find them for free on Google. Just type in the name of the book, free PDF, and you'll be able to get it for free. The fourth thing you need to understand about, having the best skill set, to get rich in the creator age is by learning to build products that people actually love. You hear that a lot. People saying, you have to build a great product, The heuristic for if your product is good or not is if you get word of mouth referrals. If you don't get word of mouth referrals for your product, it's not good enough, okay? So you can have the best content, you could have the best copy, the best ads, the best everything. You're making a ton of sales. But if your product isn't good, someone's just going to buy the thing, they get inside your product, whether it's a course, coaching, or whatever else, and then they'll hit it, and then they'll ask for a refund, and then they might say to their network not to work with you, not to buy your thing, and it's just you're taking 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, okay? Because you're putting in all this effort in the other things, but a lot of people, they just forget about the product. They just want to get the money and not give a great experience. The guys that make the most money in the creator space in the online world through their personal brand, they put equal effort, if not more effort, into their product as they do into their front end marketing and sales, okay? Product is just as important. In fact, having a great product is the way to actually scale, because you don't want to make all of your money from just new customers paying you one time. It's better to have less customers and get them to pay you 4, 5, 6, 7 times or more with, in fact, incrementally larger numbers. If someone can pay you $100 on the front end for a small product, and then a couple months later you sell them for a $10,000 coaching mastermind or an in-person event, that is how you really build a business, because you can buy customers for the cheap in the front and upsell them on the back end for much higher package prices. And that's how you build up your customer lifetime value and increase your profitability. So if you aren't able to build a great product, you're never going to get to that stage where you can sell them a $10,000 thing, $20,000, $50,000 plus package. Excuse me. they're just going to stop at the $100 thing. They're never going to trust you again. They might even ask for a refund or charge back their card and get their money back, right? So you have to understand how to build great products that people love. That is basically one of the most important things, okay? The fifth thing that you need to understand and you need to incorporate this into your skill set to get rich in the creator age is you always have to have a education first mindset and understand that education is something that is pay to play. You can go on YouTube and get things for free, but when you realize that life is very short, and you don't really have enough time, as much time as you think, to learn the things you want to learn or get to the place you want to be, the only way to get that quickly is to pay to play. And by pay to play, I mean finding someone who is reputable and paying them for a mentorship, paying them for coaching, or even just paying for a simple consultation call. I've got some of the best advice I've ever had just from paying a few $100s to someone for 30 minutes on their calendar. And I can understand and I prepare my questions and I give them some information in advance so they can research into my situation. And then once I get on the call, I have all the questions answered that I need, and I save months of my life of just figuring it out on my own. And so, if you can approach your education from a pay to play standpoint, you're gonna accelerate past everyone else 100x. Anytime I have a problem, I just find the best expert I can. I pay them. I either buy a book, I buy coaching, I buy consultation calls, I buy courses. And that just accelerates everything 100 times. It's really hard to find the right information for free on YouTube because there's just billions of ways you can go. There's millions and millions of videos on YouTube on various topics, and it's almost impossible to find the right way you need to go. But if you find that one person, that one expert that you can trust, you like their personality, they have good social proof, they have good results, and you pay them for that advice, that direction, you're essentially going to accelerate significantly more, and you're going to be able to get rich a lot quicker from social media. So that is the skill set that you have to have in order to get rich in the creator economy. Open-minded stubbornness, mastering getting attention, quality over quantity, study copywriting, learn how to build great products that people love, and an education first mindset. Okay. And so hopefully this helped. Feel free to subscribe, leave a comment, like. In the description, I got some links. If you want to join my newsletter, it's free. In the description, just put in your email. I'll start emailing you every week. I will pitch you sometimes to work with me. So if you don't want to get pitched sometimes, don't opt in. But I will be emailing you often with some good value. And if you want to check out the rest of my social media, it's at Shawpreneur everywhere else, Instagram, Twitter, etc. And hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you in the next one.